All right, this week we're going to kind of switch gears. We're going to just specifically work on how to write the argumentative FRQ or essay that the College Board wants. Now, we have 4 weeks left in class, so we have way more than enough time to cover all the content that you'll need it. But I think that this being one of the major vehicles to assess what your grade will be, I think we need to cover this specifically and show you exactly what is expected of you. So all we're worried about today is this thesis point, this row A. Don't worry about B. That will be later on in the week. But what we're trying to do with a thesis statement is this. They're going to give you some sort of prompt, all right, some sort of question to answer. And what they're asking you for is to write some sort of statement where you form an opinion and you provide reasoning behind it. And reasoning is, all right, here's my claim and here's the way that I feel like I do. All right, now, understand what's not going to get you a point. If you just write one sentence and all you do is restate the prompt, okay, just restate it word for word, you're not going to get anything, okay? If you use language in the prompt and make a claim, like, okay, here's the question you asked me, here's my answer, but your reasoning is completely unrelated, you're not going to get a point. What they're looking for you to do is this, okay? They're looking for you to form an opinion on the prompt and tell me why you feel that way. Now, it says here, you got to do more than restate or rephrase the prompt. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use language in the prompt. I would tell you to use language in the prompt. I would say, yes, do it. And you'll see me do it later on as well. But you've got to go further. You've got to rephrase it. You've got to answer it or make a claim to it, and you got to provide reasoning behind it as well. So that's what we're looking on doing. So when it comes down to it, what you're going to see here is the argumentative essay is 7 points total, all right? Now, we're only worried about the first point today. You're going to get 25 minutes to write, 5 minutes to upload it, and it's got to be roughly about 3 paragraphs as well. Write clearly, write concisely. They're going to allow you to type the response if you're a really good typist, or they're going to, more importantly, allow you to write it out on paper and take a picture of it and upload it as well as too. But it's supposed to be written like an essay, okay? This is not the time for bullet points or shorthanding or anything else like that. Now, as related to me via the College Board lectures, I think it's kind of an understanding that the College Board knows that you'll have notes. They know that. I think it would be impossible for them to kind of not know that. All right, so with that though, and the understanding of that is they are going to be extremely, extremely intolerant, if you will, of cheating. All right, so if you're copy and pasting from the internet, you're going to get a 0. If you're using my handouts word for word, and more people than one are doing that, and it just keeps coming up and up again, you're going to get a 0. Your score is going to be invalidated as well. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at those foundational documents that we've talked about, and you want to create your own notes in your own words. And you want to, you maybe create a list of 5 and have those ready to go. Okay, Federalist number 10, it's about this, it says this, it says this. The 5 main points that you could use to write on. You want to have that. And then what I would say is use an impromptu outline that the College Board has put forth, which I think is very valuable as well. Now, you can use it or you can't, but I would say use the structure. I think it's good as well. Now, when you're writing a thesis paragraph, please understand that what you're doing is you're taking a side and you're describing why you feel that way. Now, the big point is you have to respond to the prompt. So read the prompt. What is this asking me? Okay? Address the counterpoint and reasoning. That's what I would say how you would start off with. I think it makes for a better paragraph. That if you just take a brief look at the other side and here's what they're saying. And then you explain your side, you take a side, and then you explain why you feel that way as well. Okay? So that's what we're looking at that. That's what we're looking at doing today. And the key word here is when you provide your reasoning is this key word is because. Because anything after because is telling you, here's why I feel the way that I do. And at the end of this, when you write this 1 to 2 sentence thesis paragraph, and that's all it takes, is you're basically telling the reader this. Okay, I've gave you my position, I've gave you my reasoning, all right? It's everything after the word that because. Now it's time for me to prove it, all right? And that's in my remaining 2 paragraphs. That's what we're looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, and I'm going to provide this to the prompt, or excuse me, to the post on Google Classroom, is the essay handout that AP has put forth. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've stolen this directly from the lectures as well. But I think it's good. Now, what I'm going to do is on Google Classroom, I'm going to put this prompt up here right there. And all we're going to work on today and tomorrow is writing a 1 to 2 sentence thesis paragraph of what they want. So, here's what it's saying. There's considerable disagreement over whether a representative democracy or a direct democracy is a better form of government. Develop an argument on whether a representative or direct democracy is the better vehicle for serving the needs of the citizens. So that's the prompt. That's what they're asking you to take a stance on. Which one is better in regards to a vehicle for serving the needs of the citizens? Now, later on, what they're going to say, okay, after you take a stance and provide reasoning, is you're going to need to use one of these to back up your claim, all right? To back up your claim. But we'll get there tomorrow, and I'll show you exactly how to do it as well. And then another piece, can either be here or something else you learned in class, to form your reasoning as well. So what I would like to do is, with this outline, is kind of briefly go over it, and then I'll show you exactly how I did it for another prompt as well. So what you're going to have to do here with the FRQ is you're going to have to put both options down. A representative democracy is the better vehicle for serving the needs of citizens. That's option 1. Or option 2. A direct democracy is the better vehicle for serving the needs of the citizens as well. So you're going to have to take a side. You're going to have to take a side. Now, the big thing is this. It's not enough just to say this. You need to have the keyword because, and you have to have reasoning behind it. And hopefully I can kind of explain that to you when I show you exactly what I did another prompt as well. So you got to have that word because in this sentence, because it's telling you, okay, here's my opinion, and I feel this way because of this. Now, when you get to the second and third paragraph, okay, you're going to have to back up the because, all right? So anything you write after because, all right, right in the sentence, has to be backed up in the remaining 2 paragraphs as well. So if I'm thinking a representative democracy is the better vehicle for serving the needs of the citizens, I'm probably thinking that I want to do Federalist number 10 because it does talk about the benefits of a large representative republic and the advantages that it has for its citizens as well. So what I can do is when I get there tomorrow, remaining is maybe I'll talk about Federalist number 10 and the reasons why Madison felt that it was really beneficial for citizens and serving the needs of them as well. All right, so that's what I can do. Maybe there, and then maybe for my second piece over here, what I can say is, okay, representative democracy. Why might that be good? Well, maybe I could even talk about this idea of the civil rights movement. All right, specifically southern states, majorities in southern states, infringing upon African Americans' equal protection of the law. Okay, so the segregation, the literacy test, and all those things. And then more importantly, how a Republican form of government, or representative government, if you will, was able to address those issues, to solve those issues the various ways that they did, and that they could actually kind of rebuke these southern state majorities that were trying to impose these negative methods on everybody, whatever you want. But you can go wherever you want with that as well. All right. So maybe you want to do that, but this is open for interpretation. You can use whatever you want. So I'm going to erase that as well. Or maybe you want to go down here and maybe you want to check. All right. Well, maybe I think a direct democracy is the better vehicle for serving the needs of citizens. And maybe I'll use Brutus number 1 about that because it talks about how this new formed representative democracy posed by the Federalists is going to be terrible, and here's the reasons why. Now, what I would tell you is whatever you go here, it necessarily doesn't need to be the one that you believe in. Pick the one that's easier to write, all right? Pick the one that's easier to write. So if you feel, oh, I really have a lot of understanding, I can make really good arguments and valid arguments on this. All right, I really have a good understanding of Federalist number 10. I've got a second example. Use this. All right. Or if you're like, oh, direct democracy, everybody directly participates. I feel like I'm really good at that. I feel like I could argue Brutus 1 and how the federal government doesn't address the needs of citizens. And maybe I could talk about this idea down here of how direct democracy allows for referendums, initiatives, recalls, and total participation, how that's been, whatever. It's completely up to you as well. But whatever you do, you pick a side. You pick a side. Now, when it comes time to writing this thesis, how I want you to do it is this. All right. First, start off like your first sentence could be addressing the counterpoint and the reasons why they feel this way. All right. So you can say some Americans believe that this form of government is better for serving the needs of citizens because of blah, 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 blah. All right, period. That's your first period. However, okay, and that's telling the reader that I'm going to argue otherwise. However, comma, I believe that this form of government is a much better vehicle for serving the needs of citizens because it does boom, 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 boom. And then you just take those four and drop it down into a thesis and do it from there. Here's exactly how I did it with another example that I'll give to you as well. Hopefully I can get this up as well. All right, so this was last year's FRQ where it says, okay, develop an argument about whether the expanded powers of the national government benefits or hinders policy making, all right? So the ability to address some sort of social or economic goal. So I had two options here. The expansion of the federal powers benefits policy making. That's my first option. The expansion of federal powers hinders policy making. So I've got two different options here. And when I looked at my reasoning, first of all is I looked at right up here. Okay, what are the options they're giving me to argue? All right, Articles of Confederation, Brutus, number 1, which I erased right there, and then Federalist number 10. That's what I do. All right, well, okay. Well, I felt like I have a strong understanding of the Articles of Confederation, why it was terrible, because the federal government was weak, and I think I can argue why it was weak and how it's beneficial to have a stronger government. So I'm going to use that. And my second argument that I could use is maybe the civil rights movement of these southern states that were violating the Equal Protection Clause against African Americans, how the federal government, enhanced powered federal government, was able to step up and address the needs there. So when I went here, I said, okay, the expansion of federal powers benefits policymaking because, and there's my key word, because, and this is basically telling you, here's my reasoning. Here's my opinion. Here's why I feel the way I do. Because confederacies are inefficient in addressing problems that pose threats to the public, and it prevents states from passing legislation that is harmful to civil rights. That's what I did. So that's my thesis statement with reasoning. Here's my opinion. Here's my reasoning. The other option is the expansion of federal powers hinders policymaking. And I said, okay, Brutus 1, because it is too detached from the general population to understand its needs, and its actions can sometimes be harmful to civil rights. And so what I went there is when I said, okay, here's my reasoning. If I'm going to back up this reasoning with Brutus 1, I can mention how Brutus 1 talks about a large representative and how it doesn't understand what the public wants. It's too detached. It has no need, and how a participatory or direct democracy would be much better because everybody participates and everybody's directly on every level of government moving forward. And I also talked about FDR's Executive Order 9066 during World War II, where the American government, by order of the president, interns Japanese citizens. And I said how that's a violation of the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment, and that was very dangerous as well, this representative form and the power that it has. And I would later go on to argue in a direct democracy this will not happen because the vast majority of people would look at this and feel as if it was wrong. It's a violation of the Constitution and therefore invalidated as well. So I've got a whole bunch of things that I can argue down here as well. But what I will tell you is you're going to notice, and I'll talk about this a lot tomorrow, is that my reasoning links to the commentary. It links to the commentary. That's how you get serious points on this FRQ. You not only can use relevant documents, but you can take their ideas and tie them into your reasoning. All right, here's what it says. All right, this is backing up what I just mentioned earlier. This is proving me right. 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 All right, this is my second piece of evidence. This is also proving me right. So that's exactly how you get major points. Now, what I did is I chose option one. I chose option one. So I dropped in my thesis. I said, all right, I start off by addressing the opposite point, which is some Americans believe that the expansion of federal powers hinders policy making because it is too detached from the general population to understand its needs, and its actions can sometimes be harmful to civil rights, right? So all I did is I took that information from the top and put it down there. However, keyword showing me that I'm going to make a turn, the stronger argument is that the expansion of federal powers benefits policymaking because confederacies are inefficient in addressing problems that can pose threats to the public and to prevent states from passing legislation that's harmful to civil rights. And so all I did is I took that word for word and put it right down there. So all that is two sentences. Two sentences. It addresses the counterpoint and the reasoning, but it also tells the reader, here's my point, my claim, and here's my reasoning, the reason why I feel the way that I do. And I'm good. And I'm good. So that's all I'm asking you to do is write a 2-sentence thesis statement, all right, with reasoning that the way that AP wants it so that you can get maximum points. So here's where we stand, all right, as what I've said before. I've given you my opinion, I've given you my reasoning, and now it's time to prove I'm right, all right? So that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to put this prompt right here, I'm going to put it up on Google Classroom. All I want you to do over the next 2 days is form a 1 to 2 sentence thesis statement that abides by the AP College Board standards and will get you the full point. So we're looking for you to make a claim, form an opinion, and provide reasoning behind that opinion that can be backed up by one of these documents or another piece of information that you remember from class. So if you have any questions, concerns, or comments, I need you to contact me as soon as possible. But turn in this thesis statement as fast as you can because I will grade it, I will look at it, I will give you commentary on it, and then I will post another video tomorrow about how to go about forming these evidence or factual paragraphs. Okay? All right, see you tomorrow.